So that's what our poster is going to be on today, is the greenhouse effect. So we've been talking about this. The greenhouse effect is a normal, natural process. And without it, we wouldn't have life on Earth. Okay? So we need it. So why does everybody keep talking about it, right? I don't know. Here we go. Brooks, what starts all the processes on Earth? Why are we here? Where do we get our energy from? It's big and yellow. Oh, sun. There we go. We get our energy from the sunshine. Okay? So here's our sunshine, and it is involved in the greenhouse effect. He's a happy little sunshine, and he's doing what suns do, and they send out warm rays. Okay, so we get one more. So normally, what uses that sunshine, Reza? What uses that sunshine? Plants. So true. Look, here's a whole bunch of plants. Whole bunch of plants. And they use that sunshine. And then we have this thing called the ozone layer. And the ozone layer is a really good protective layer. It keeps out the harmful rays, but lets in the good, healthy rays. Let's put some trees here. Some trees. Those are some beautiful trees. Okay, so now we have the sun's rays. Here it comes. Woo, it's so happy. Okay, and then we have these things, these fluffy things. What are those fluffy things called, Kaylin? Clouds. I love clouds. No, I don't. Actually, that's why I live here, because I don't love clouds. However, I love that our clouds have planets, because sometimes that heat is reflected off of the Earth, and it comes and it bounces back off the clouds and it heats the Earth again. Oh man, that's exciting, right? And then sometimes it heats the Earth and leaves. Okay, so the sun's rays can be reflected, it can bounce around, and it can be absorbed. So those are kind of what happens to the sun's rays. And this bouncing makes our planet warm enough to have life on Earth. Okay, if we didn't have this bouncing, then it wouldn't be able to sustain life. It would be too cold. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to work. And sometimes it even bounces off this and then comes back down, and you get the picture. It bounces and it warms the Earth. So, does the Earth look like this, plants only? No. What are we missing here? What are we missing, Liam? Animals. Animals, okay, and we're the main animal, right, on planet Earth, and what do we do to it? What do we do to the Earth? Do we make huge factories? Whoops. And what do those factories do? They pollute. Okay? And when they're polluting. There are three really bad ones, one kind of semi-bad. So CH4 is methane. Methane is pollution that comes out of these plants. Okay. It also, cow farts are a pretty significant source of methane. We have CO2. Where does CO2 come from, Liam?
Naturally?
Sometimes, when a lava.
No, I was asking if you were asking where it comes from naturally.
Oh, no.
In which case, I don't know.
Not natural. So when we're driving.
In that case, it comes from factories and other.
Factories and cars, all sorts of things. Okay. Levi. Well, actually, water vapor is one of them, and then this thing called N2O. So all those things are coming out of factories and they're going up into our ozone layer. So let's see what happens to the sun's rays. Okay, so is some of the sun's energy absorbed? Yeah, that's not gonna change. Okay, so now here comes our sun rays. It's gonna come up here. What's it gonna do? What do you think it's gonna do?
Grant Roach, please come to the main office. Grant Roach, please come to the main office.
Peyton, what do you think that does when it comes up and hits those chemicals? Can it escape? What's it gonna do?
Hits back off.
Yeah, it's gonna bounce off. Okay, so it hits this again, and then it comes here and hits this. What's it gonna do, Macrum? It's gonna bounce off. Okay, so when we had some rays escaping, now we don't. So we have more rays bouncing back and forth. What's that gonna do to our temperature, Jordan? It's gonna increase it. Okay? So, less reflected energy, more bouncing, and that's going to equal hotter Earth. Okay, so I consider the ozone layer a blanket around the Earth that keeps us nice and safe. If we didn't have this ozone layer, we wouldn't have Earth. We wouldn't have life on Earth. It would be too cold. Okay? So essentially, what we're doing when we're doing this, we're adding a layer, a heavier blanket to the Earth. Okay? And what happens when you have a heavy blanket in the summer? You get hot and you sweat, right? It's bad. Okay? So the greenhouse effect is adding those chemicals into the atmosphere that make it bounce back and forth more. So why do we care? Why do we care? Daniel, what's gonna happen if the Earth gets warmer? Maybe. What melts when it's warmer? Ice melts, okay? So when ice melts, Kempton, what's that gonna do to the sea level? Is it gonna make it more? Yeah, so now we're gonna have like a foot or two higher of our oceans. Kyle, what's that gonna do to cities that are like beachfront? on the edges of the continents. Are they gonna be underwater?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Maybe.
So you know what other thing? Guys, where do our major weather systems come from? Where do they usually start? A major weather system. Can you guys think of a major weather system? Like what? What are some examples of a major weather system?
What is that?
Well, I'm talking about major weather, bad weather things. What possible bad weather things can happen?
Ours come from Canada.
Yeah, but the major weather, it all starts in the ocean, okay? So what kind of bad weather systems happen in the ocean? Tsunami, well, that's like caused by an earthquake.
Hurricane?
Hurricanes, right? So if we change the water temperature, what else are we gonna change? So the big ocean is changing, global warming is changing. People go, how can we have global warming when it's so cold last winter? Right? How many people have heard that? So if we change the ocean, right, what's also gonna be affected?
The weather?
Huh?
The weather?
The weather's gonna change. So are we gonna have more bad hurricanes possibly? Yeah, is it possible that we could have, more of those cold weather coming from Canada coming down and making us really cold? So it's not just sea levels rising, it's that it changes all our weather patterns. Remember it was a couple years ago, we had all that snow, more snow we've had in years? Where did that come from? Where my mom lives in Texas, down by the Mexican border, she got snow. Why is that happening? That's what I mean by weather patterns. It's just so the ocean, the effects of the ocean and the temperature rising, not only ice caps are melting, then the weather patterns are changing because of the change in the temperature of the ocean. That kind of make sense?
Yep.
All weird weather patterns are happening. Why are we having 106 degrees when it's like tomorrow when it's like June 1st?
That's crazy. It's too hot.
Crazy weather.
Too hot.
Yep.
Thank you, Miss Tyner.